They had 20 years to prepare for this movie, and... Welcome to another review here on Movie Reedviews. I'm going to be reviewing Independence Day Resurgence. So it stars some of the old cast members from the first movie, which was 20 years ago, and some of which you don't really need. And then it also stars some newer cast members, which will hopefully continue the franchise with this younger, newer cast. And it's also directed by Roland Emmerich, who did the first one. So the actual last movie itself, it came out 20 years ago, this summer, 1996. And in this movie, it also follows like real time. So the aliens came about 20 years ago, or 20 years ago on the dot, and now they're coming back. And we knew that they would probably inevitably return, so we used their technology that was left over on our planet to prepare ourselves. So a lot of our technology now, apparently in the movie, it is like a fusion of our technology and alien technology. But when they do come, they come back bigger and badder, and they come with like a giant ship. It literally covers like probably a sixth of the planet. It just kind of like plants itself on the planet, and now they've come to take over our planet again. Now the action is pretty interesting when it is there, because it's just like a lot of like blowing stuff up and a lot of chaos and mayhem, and but the first half of the movie is still a lot of setup because there's so many characters, which I'll get to in a minute. That's my biggest gripe with this movie, and I have a list of that. But so the action is pretty cool when it is there. There's even like one scene when they like make it into the ship. I don't want to spoil anything else, but they basically make it into the ship, and I would have rather seen a lot more of that, like them trying to hide on the alien ship and stuff like that. But when it is there, it's a lot of this, and a lot of this, and even more of like this, and this, just like a lot of chaos and mayhem, like I mentioned. So yeah, there were some neat ideas in the movie, especially like, fusing the alien technology, and they come back and we're using that to prepare. We even have like a base on the moon to help prepare ourselves too. But the ideas just weren't executed well. That's the problem. There was a lot of ideas, there was a lot of different characters in the movie, and some of them, like I mentioned, weren't really needed. Jeff Goldblum was pretty good to see, and the President, so a lot of the older characters. But a lot of the newer cast was just kind of like meh. But all these ideas weren't just executed well, so let's get to the characters. And because there are so many, look at this list, all those names, I'm not going to refer to anyone by their actual character name because I only remember maybe like 2 of them, and there's like 20. So I'm going to run through this really fast. You have Liam Hemsworth, so he's like the new lead. But then you also have Will Smith's son. I guess Will Smith isn't in the movie. He must have been in an accident or something. So you have Will Smith's son, and Liam Hemsworth and him have a tiff. Or, whatever. And then this kid, his mom, is in the movie just like she was in the last movies, but she's barely in it. But then also, let's skip over to Liam's friend, who's also in the movie. He's kind of like, I don't know, just like a good friend of Liam. And then you also have Liam's friend's crush, who is really explored in the movie. It's just like, he has this crush on this one girl. So now let's move over to Liam's fiancée, who's also the ex-president's daughter from the old movie when she was like really little. Now she's in her 20s. And then you also have the ex-president himself, and he returns. Along with him also returns is Jeff Goldblum, his character, and then you also have Jeff Goldblum's kind of love interest, but they don't really explore it. It's just like they've met before at different conventions. And then you also have Jeff Goldblum's dad, who was also in the last movie, who kind of helped out. And then you also have these kids, like a bunch of different kids who helped pick up Jeff Goldblum's dad when he was in trouble, and these other school kids that help out. I don't know, it's weird. And then you also have Jeff Goldblum's accountant. That's what Wikipedia says. He's apparently in the movie, and he kind of does a little bit. And then these other characters, you have the new president, a lady president, and then you also have the general, like the main army general, who's also part of her cabinet. And then you also have an African general who's helping out because a bunch of alien technology is in his area. And then you also have like this crazy guy from the first movie he's been in a coma, so he comes back and now he's trying to help out, but he's kind of crazy. And then you also have his partner/friend in the movie, and he doesn't really do much. Yeah. I don't mind when they're set up, but when you have this many characters, that's going to make the first half of the movie just all set up because you have to get to so many different characters. We were cutting to him, and this person, and Liam, and his friend, and the fiancé, and all these different characters that really didn't need to be in there. I don't mind setup as long as it's more condensed, and the characters have purpose. So yeah, it started off with a lot of setup. The action was cool when it was there. It was only like really a few times, and then the ending was too hopeful for the next franchise. They were just like, here comes the next movie. We hope that it's going to come out in just a few years rather than 20 years. If you're on the fence about this one, Roland Emmerich directs a lot of disaster-type movies. This is more or less like Independence Day, who have lovable characters and you can connect to them, and it's more like 10,000 BC and 2012, where it's a lot of different stuff and it's kind of memorable, a lot of fluff. That's it for me. I'm going to give it 2.5 out of 5 stars. It was kind of like, meh. I don't think it was a disaster. Disaster pun. But there were just too many characters, too much stuff going on. There were certain cool ideas in the movie, but just most of them weren't executed well, but the action was pretty entertaining, so it has that. Alright, that's it. So if you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really helps out. And, give this a like. Drop some comments below. Tell me what's your favorite disaster-type movie. San Andreas was actually pretty decent last year. It wasn't, great, but it was decent and fun. But, yeah, so drop some comments. Make sure to subscribe and look out for some other reviews in July. Maybe, like Legend of Tarzan, which comes out soon. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.